Okay, so this is what you're going to need for making banana cake. 2 cups of plain flour or all-purpose flour, 1 cup of white sugar, 5 tablespoons of milk, and 1 whole egg, a half teaspoon of baking soda, and also 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half teaspoon of salt, and this is half a cup of unsalted butter, which is roughly about 125 grams. Usually they have it for, they have the measuring on the back, and you'll be able to just measure it that way, unless you want to use a scale. That's also an easy way to use it. And then you also need about 1 cup of ripe banana mashed. I put 3 here just in case 2 isn't enough, and I'm just going to mash them up and then measure it. Okay, so now we're going to preheat the oven first to 175 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Mine's Fahrenheit, so I'm just going to do that now. So next is preparing the pan. I have a bread loaf pan, roughly this size should do. Basically what we're going to do is actually use oil spray and basically spray the pan first. Just spray it so that it covers roughly everything. Should be enough. And then what you're going to do is either flour it, sprinkle it with the flour to cover it, or you just use baking paper and then just rip some off and lay it on top. Okay, so it's a bit hard to fit in sometimes in such a shallow pan, but basically what I've done is I just try to put it in and then just snip off the places where it falls into the corner, and then that will make it easier to fold. Mashed the banana, so we don't know exactly how much it would take to be about 1 cup. So what I'm going to do now is use a fork, something I learned from joyofbaking.com, and just it really allows it to mash up easily. So just do that, and then you just keep changing directions and keep doing it until it's all mashed up and very, very sort of unattractive. Okay, so you can see it looks pretty unattractive now. It looks a bit like, you know, it's pretty disgusting. Better to not let the people who are about to eat this to actually see this procedure. But, so there should be enough here for a cup. Okay, so it turns out that this is the 1 cup measuring cup, 1 cup, and it turns out that 3 of those bananas that are used are basically only fill up to almost just a little bit beneath 1 cup, but that's alright, I'm not too fussy about that. Looks just about right anyway. And yeah, so you might want to have a few spares when you want to make this recipe. Okay, so next we're going to use a bowl and a sifting or strainer, and basically sift all the dry ingredients, which is the flour, the baking powder, baking soda, and salt together, and then we'll probably use a balloon whisk and just give them a nice mix and mix them together. It's a bit hard to use one hand to do this, but I'll just show you. So just put some in, and usually you can use your other hand to gently tap the other side, and this will help you sift the dry ingredients. And when I'm sifting, I try to just sort of go in a round motion just to spread the flour out a bit, so the dry ingredients don't pile up in one circle in the center. So now you can see that it's quite different in color, that everything is sifted in. What we'll do is use a balloon whisk and just make sure everything's mixed in together properly. Okay, so next in another clean bowl, what we're going to do is, with the unsalted butter and the white sugar, what we're going to do is cream them together. First process is make sure you have room temperature unsalted butter or margarine in that case if you're using that. Well, the main point is that it's summer here in Sydney at the moment and it's really hot. This is sort of pretty much like melted butter, more like it. Okay, so what we're going to do first is use an electric mixer and just beat it until it's sort of creamy first, and then we'll add the sugar sprinkler over on top. And you can do it all at once, or you could do it separately a few times and like add in some and then mix it and then add in some, whichever way you prefer it. And then we'll just keep beating it until it becomes light and fluffy and sort of more pale in color. Just want to use a rubber spatula to scrape down the sides and then keep beating. I don't think I really need to beat too much because, as I said, it's very hot at the moment. It's about 30 something degrees today, and even though it's already sort of almost 9, it's actually still very hot at the moment. So just do that, and then I'm just going to sprinkle the sugar on top. Now we're just gonna, I've sprinkled some white sugar, about half the amount, and we're just gonna beat it until it's blended in, and then add the rest. It's good to use a little bit less, so add them separately, maybe like separate them into halves, because if you add too much sometimes when you beat it, things fly everywhere. Something like this, and then sprinkle the rest in. And then keep beating until it's light and fluffy. So you can see it's a little, it looks sort of light and fluffy, and it's sort of more pale in color. Don't know if it's not that obvious to you over the video, but also when you're beating it, stop once in a while just to scrape off the sugars that have been flicked onto the sides so that it mixes thoroughly. Before we add the egg, we're just going to lightly beat it. So just gently sort of beat it a little. And then we're going to mix it in along with the mashed bananas. So pleasant sound. Okay, and then just beat this until, so then roughly looks like this after it's mixed in. Yeah, still a bit disgusting, but this is the final process of mixing in. Basically we still have the all-purpose flour left and the milk, because there's a lot of all-purpose flour, so what I'm going to do is add them in 3 steps, mixing in after each step. First I'll use all-purpose flour, then I'll add in milk, then I'll come back to all-purpose flour. And usually you can use an electric mixer to mix it in, but I don't want it to be overbeat, and sometimes it's possible to do that with electric mixers, so I'm actually just going to mix with a rubber spatula and then just mix everything in so that it's pretty well blended, and then maybe just beat it a little bit with an electric mixer. So I'll just sprinkle a little bit of one first, just about half, and then just mix it through with, make sure to scrape the bottoms and the sides, and just keep mixing until it's thoroughly blended. Roughly mix it in until it doesn't seem like there's any flour, obvious flour pockets left, and then we'll just actually wait, the milk, so we'll just pour in all the milk first, and then we'll mix this in. So just roughly mixed in the milk, and then sprinkle on the rest of the flour. And just gonna hand mix it until, in the same way, making sure there's no pockets anywhere, especially on the very bottom, scraping off the sides, and then flipping them over to make sure they mix in evenly. And if you mix it well enough, you may not even need to use an electric mixer, and it will ensure that you won't So roughly mixed in until this state. You can see there's obviously no obvious flour pockets left anymore, and looks like it's blended in very well, and I've made sure I scraped the bottom. Pour the batter into the pan. It's rather thick, but it's still rather easy to pour into the pan, and I'm just going to use a spatula and just roughly smooth it out a little because I like it looking nice. And maybe just push it into the corners a little. It's very sticky, so just want to make it sort of even. So now I'm not really sure if I have to do this with such a thick batter, but usually sometimes with cakes and stuff, when you have the batter, you might just drop it a few times on the counter just to get the air bubbles out and everything. Okay, so now we're just going to put this banana cakes batter into the oven. That's already been preheated. So as I said, baking it at 175 degrees Celsius if yours is Celsius, or if your oven is Fahrenheit, it's 350 Fahrenheit. And we're just going to bake this until it's brown on top and that it sort of cracks on top. And the recipe I'm using doesn't actually say. So what you could do is wait until about 35 minutes, pull it out, use a skewer and just poke it through the center all the way down. And then when it comes out clean, that means so without any wet crumbs or without any wet batter, maybe with just a few little crumbs. If it comes out clean, then that means it's done. So if it's not, then you can just give it a few more minutes. It's just hit 40 minutes. Take it out. And take off the flowers. And then use the skewer and try it again. So it's still very, very wet, so I'd say it would actually in fact need maybe about 10 more minutes. So I'm just going to put it back in and give it 10 more minutes. So it has been 10 more minutes, so now it's about 50 to 52 minutes. I'm just going to check again. The idea is to not let it over bake, so you have to check once in a while, but you don't want to check like every 2 seconds or like 2 seconds or something, because that's just probably not going to let it bake very well. So again, I'm just going to grab a new one. And you can see it's cracked even more and actually opened up higher, and it looks like it's very dry now. Yep, it's all dry, so that's good. So about 50 to 52 minutes is what you will get. And so now we'll remove it from the oven and turn it off and let it cool down on a wire rack. Okay, time to test the banana cake. This recipe is quite nice if you don't like it too sweet. It's quite soft and fluffy, just a bit crunchy around the edge because I've cut off the one I'm eating is actually the side part that I cut off. Hello YouTubers, so today's recipe was banana cake. It's actually been maybe about 1 week and a half or so ago that I actually made the cake and filmed everything.
so it took a lot longer to actually make this first video clip because I had to make the opening sequence and everything, and rendering issues, a lot of stuff were really annoying. And also because I was really busy with some driving exams and all that kind of stuff. So the reason why I really wanted to make this that day was because banana cake is something that someone I like really likes. Told me about it before, and so I just thought I might want to make that day because I really felt like it. And one of my friends was really kind enough to, she actually copied everything up from a book onto a Word document for me and sent it over to me. And you know, the recipe and the ingredients are all very simple, so it's very easy to make. Sorry about the quality of the video. Donnie gominasai. It's pretty bad. I know it's actually just filmed on a very small digital camera. I have a DV and some sound recording device, but both of them happen to be at two different friends' places while before I decided to make this video, because I haven't made a video for a long time, and so I thought it'd be fine if they wanted to rent it, borrow it from me. So I'm just going to be taking that back very soon, probably before I make my second video. Sorry it took so long to make this video, and sorry that it's not filmed exactly very well, but I hope you enjoy it and have fun making banana cake. Done it.